You're joking, right?
Well, I'm trying to be hopeful. I'm trying to be optimistic about that.
Well, I guess you're too young to be a little pessimistic like me. The fucking things I see out there, people are stupid.
You got to bring the garbage out. Is that what you said?
No, club card. I got to do that too.
Okay.
Though.
All right.
Hi, Bronny.
That will save the garbage trip the whole week until Bryce and I get home. And then he's like, you guys need to, we'll like pull in the driveway and be like, you guys got to help me with the garbage.
That's not necessarily true. It goes out on Sundays.
Yeah, we're always here on Sundays.
And if you're here on Sundays, you can't help.
No, I know.
I'm gonna make
it because it goes out on
Sunday. Do you guys talk about that?
No, I didn't.
Do you
I
think
just
Bryce
started
talks
thinking
about that?
No. I'm just noticing now it feels like every time I come home, it's always like the first thing I have to do is take the garbage out. And it's like, are you waiting for me to come home?
I hear you, but it just saves me doing 3 trips. I do 1 trip.
No, totally.
So you guys are going to help me tonight?
Sunday, sure. And since it's always on Sunday, that it makes sense.
If you're here, correct.
Right, and I'm usually here on Sunday.
Right.
And today's Sunday for those listening.
Right. Perfect.
It's Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening.
We'll do our garbage later.
Yeah.
When we get home.
Sure.
You going back to Miami after dinner?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'll come back and get my stuff and then go.
Correct.
Yeah,
right. After we do the garbage.
Okay. Of course. That's
How
why.
you doing, Bronny? Hi, everybody.
Good,
Another day.
Another
$1.
$1.
Fucking tax day. This comes out.
Yeah.
We got an extension.
This podcast doesn't exist.
Okay.
For those listening, you're not listening to anything.
Wow.
Or we just don't make any money on this podcast.
Well, I'm not part of it. Don't involve me.
I don't make any money on this podcast,
Okay,
except
but-
I do. Join the Patreon. Patreon.com/daddyissuespod. Help me pay my rent, people. I need it.
Crazy.
I'm going to Japan for a month. I need all the help I can get.
How will you do the pod when you're in Japan?
I don't know. We'll have to bank a couple episodes before, and then we'll maybe do like a couple remote. I'll just like sit in the hotel for
3
an hour.
weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to do it.
Yeah, I'll just sit in the hotel for an hour. It's not a big deal.
What's the time change?
It's like 14 hours ahead. So like Japan's usually in the next day. So like it's already Monday.
If it's like a Saturday at noon here.
Let's see. So like 12 p.m. Eastern to Japan in Tokyo. Let's see. Okay, noon in
Here.
Miami is 1 a.m. on Monday. Like it's 1 a.m. in Tokyo.
So we have to figure that out. It's gonna be tough.
So let's
we'll
see.
deal with it later.
No, but if you do if you do like 8 p.m., so right like after work,
Right.
would be 9 a.m.
That's
in
when you'll
Tokyo.
do
So
it.
that's what we'll do.
All right, we'll figure it
yeah,
out.
yeah.
You
So
got
it's
it.
not a big deal. We'll figure that out.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. How are you? How was your weekend?
The weekend was nice. Last night we had some friends over. We had it was very relaxing.
That's the new move. At least maybe it's just because my friends and I are all maturing and like getting older a little bit. Because like a year ago, we would always, have our pregame. That you hate that word, but it just means like a get together. We would have our pregame, and then the whole point of the pregame was like, we're all like, where should we go? And we're like all antsy to be like, come on, let's get out. Let's go to the club. Let's go to the bar. The last like month, every week that we've hung out, my friend group, we're always like, should we just stay in? Yeah, let's stay in. And we like just continue hanging out on the couch or, whatever, instead of going out. Because it's like, not only are we going to save money, but it's also
But
like,
it costs me more money the way we do it.
well, yeah, but it's
'Cause
like
moms,
if we're
feeding 10, 12 people.
yeah,
Like we have people coming over this Saturday night coming up. We have people coming over Monday night again, another 8 people.
well, yeah, you guys,
So it's
you run a
restaurant.
hospitality industry business.
Unfucking believable.
Yeah.
Your mother.
You agree to all of it. You low-key love it. You say that you hate
I
it,
like
but
chilling. I don't like the extravagance of it.
I mean, you are this way, and I'm definitely the same way. Where it's like, I don't love the idea of like always having the things at my place, but it's so much better than going to someone else's.
Correct. But it started with 2 other couples. We ended up having 11 people.
Yeah, but wouldn't you rather have that than go to someone else's house and have 11 couples?
But it would have been nice to have
Or 11
2
people.
couples.
Yeah.
So we did that. Then today, yesterday was a great day. We relaxed, chilled, worked out. Went to Atlantic. It was way too crowded. I mean, we left after.
You also went on like a festival day. It was
Right,
like a
but
fair.
too hot. Well, that's what I wanted to go to. Check it out, take the dog out for a walk, but it was too hot. So we just came back and chilled, and we relaxed the whole day with Chippy. Shout out to Chippy's birthday. Turns 5 today.
Yeah.
And then today went to baby name, and I fucking came home and did nothing. It's terrible.
Why is that terrible? It's
I don't know,
Sunday.
just sitting on the couch.
I didn't do anything until I drove down here.
Yeah,
I
like
sat
it.
in bed and just watched TV.
Yeah,
I even DoorDashed in food, which I never do.
Wow.
I never do
What's
that.
your DoorDash?
Motek, which is like Israeli. It's really
Okay,
good.
you're so funny.
Yeah.
I like to feel
Shout out Motek in Miami.
I like to do something to feel accomplished with.
Yeah, but
Like to
on
get something
Sundays,
I was going to work out again today, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, that's right.
Your hobby. What it is. What?
Your hobby, working out.
Yeah, I'm just gotta lose weight. I keep saying it, but
I got 15 minutes into the last episode of Beef, and then I had to turn it off, and I don't really want to finish it.
Oh, and I watched Mandalorian, by the way.
Which was great.
It was this one was which one? Oh, with the captures.
Well, don't do spoilers.
Interesting.
Because Mandalorian just came out. Don't do spoilers.
Beef's
a great show for everyone. Anyone that needs a show, it's on Netflix. It just came out.
It is a good 8 or 10 episodes.
It's just really interesting and different and a good
Didn't
story.
love the last episode.
No, so I'm 15 minutes in. Like they're just in the middle of their like trip. In their like their psychedelic trip.
Yes,
not like a vacation. And it just is a bit like pointless to me. It feels like, where is this going? What's the point? Like there was this huge buildup, and then now they're just going to sit there and talk it out.
Well, you're going to be, and I agree with you, and it's a letdown at the end. But the
just because an ending,
yeah.
But it's like if 90% of something is so awesome and 10%
doesn't bother me,
it still means it's an awesome thing.
Yeah, it didn't bother me. I'm just saying I would like the better ending considering.
Yeah,
the
so I would recommend watching Beef if you
100%.
You know, because I don't think you'll know this. So, and I think you'll find this cool. The David Choe, who's an actor, he plays the cousin in Beef, the crazy cousin.
I like him.
Do you know his story? He's got a crazy story.
No. He was funny, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's really funny. And he was a good actor. He's not really an actor. He just like started doing it for fun. 20 years ago, he's an artist by trade. Like he does like street art kind of like murals and stuff like that. When he was young, he was living in like the Bay Area, like Palo Alto, San Francisco area. And he met these couple kids who like saw his work. He was kind of just a struggling artist. They saw his work and they liked it. And so they were like, we just opened up like a company and we have this like little office. Can you come in? Like we want our office to be cool. Can you come in and paint one of our walls? And he was like, sure. And instead of taking money, he was like, they offered him stock options. It was a brand new company. There were like 4 people. He was like, because they didn't have cash on hand. They were a small little company. So like, we'll just give you some stock.
These stories happen all the time, by the way.
It was Facebook.
Oh.
And his stock ended up being worth $200 million.
He was the one yes.
So he painted a wall. Mark Zuckerberg liked his art, and when Mark Zuckerberg was nothing, he painted a wall in Facebook's first little office. And instead of taking money, he was like, sure, I'll take stock. He probably thought it was going to go nowhere. And he was worth $200 million. And so then he took that, and then he became a very successful artist. You
imagine?
Because once you have $200 million, you can kind of do whatever you want.
Could you imagine?
Isn't that wild?
It's a fucking
And now
lottery
he just
ticket.
like acts for fun, and he just
it's a
fucks
lottery
around.
ticket.
Yeah,
isn't that crazy? You hear about
just such a cool story.
That's a crazy story.
Yeah,
huh.
Yeah. I wonder. Let's see. David Choe mural, Facebook. Yeah, look. There's him and Mark. Oh no, so that's the painting he painted for them. And it ended up being worth $200 million because he just took the stock. Here it says, the graffiti artist who took Facebook stock instead of cash made a smart bet. The shares owned by the artist are expected to be worth upwards of $200 million when Facebook trades publicly. This was back in 2012.
It's worth a lot more now.
Yeah. Social network company announced its $5 billion public offering Wednesday, which is expected to value the company at $100 billion. Yeah. So
what's he worth now then? This guy.
Oh no, this was I guess this is the mural that he posted.
It's very cool.
That he made. Yeah. David Choe net worth. He was a good actor in it.
He was great. He was funny. Good for him.
Here it says 300 mil.
Not too shabby.
Yeah. Right? For being an artist.
Just some fucking stock.
Right.
Wow.
He got super lucky. But shit like that happens. And then a lot of shit like that doesn't.
What a
like
simple.
He probably thought, whatever, I'll put this mural
hours,
and it'll. Right.
And people see it, they might want to buy a painting.
Exactly. Yeah, crazy.
Damn.
So I just thought, like, I thought you'd like that because you now know who he is. You watched him in the show.
It was a good, and she was a comedian.
She was a phenomenal actress.
She was great.
Phenomenal actress. I was shocked at how real she felt.
No, she was good.
Yeah.
I mean, they probably get acting coaches too to help.
Of course,
them.
but still,
still good.
You either have it or you don't. Even if you learn it, you kind of just have the star power or you don't. Yeah.
I was impressed.
And her husband, actor, her husband who in the show is another very famous artist. He's he's not an actor. He's an artist that, so it's kind of funny because in the show he plays a struggling artist who doesn't have actually any talent, but in real life, he's like a very successful
father
artist.
had the real talent.
Yeah.
It was. I liked it. It was definitely good. I'm glad you told me to watch it.
Yeah.
It was not light. I thought it was gonna be a comedy.
It's not light. It's funny, but it's like intense. It's kind of like you don't want to watch before bed because you'll have to put like New Girl on after or something.
I need a new show.
There's not too many out. Well, no, Succession. I'm telling you, this last week's episode of Succession. I'm not gonna say any spoilers, but it was one of the best episodes of television I've watched my entire life.
Right, so I gotta watch it.
Yeah,
it's 5
and not
seasons?
only was it. Yeah, this is the fourth currently on.
They're an hour each one?
Yeah. So and each season so it's 30 hours total. That's not that big of a commitment. You did Psych, which is like 8 seasons. Each one is like 20 episodes. I meant Chuck.
Chuck's the best.
Yeah. Succession.
Plus, I love the blonde in Chuck.
Yeah. The thing with Succession too is like not only is the story in the show so good, but you will feel, I just know that you will feel a relation to it because the story is pretty similar to your life.
I watched the first 3 episodes. I watched when we did the baseball game.
You have to watch a full season.
You know,
that's the first episode.
Oh, okay.
You have to do a full season. You just have to. You can't get into it. I'm going to
watch it. You have my word.
Yeah.
I'll watch the next episode tonight.
Okay.
Season 1.
You should know. You got to restart it because.
No, I don't restart it again. I've seen it 3 times the first one.
Well, that's why have you seen the first episode?
Because I keep saying when I get into it, I don't watch it.
Okay.
I'll watch episode 2 of season 1 tonight.
All right. Fair
Done.
enough.
Okay, so that's it on the podcast. Oh God, people.
We should talk about. Remember we talked because there have been updates since. Remember in Iceland we talked about how Bud Light put that trans
people.
person on?
I've not met one person that likes it. Everyone.
So you've been talking to people about it.
Yeah, well, people have been talking to me about it just in not like, hey, John, it's been conversation.
Because it's like a big, people are talking about it.
And even last night we talked about it, and I brought up like.
Let's tell people what we're talking about because they might not know.
Good point. Fuck them.
Bud Light, a couple weeks ago, Bud Light announced that they were doing a partnership with Dylan Mulvaney, who's a
dude.
Who's a trans woman. So used to be a guy, now he's a woman.
Still a gay guy, just dresses up.
Sure, yeah. But they consider themselves a trans woman, and they did that whole public 365 days of womanhood and all this stuff. And the media loves this person.
And the women are idiots because, like we always say, a man's doing a better job as a woman than a woman is.
Exactly.
Like, you women should not be happy about it.
And so Bud Light, I know for those that listen to the episode, this is recap, but we're going to do an update on it. Bud Light partnered with this person and did a whole campaign with them. And so put
a picture on the Bud Light beer can of this dude who's gay.
Yeah.
Dressed as a woman.
And so a lot of people were like, fuck this. Bud Light. So the updates.
Kid Rock was shooting it. Right.
Yeah. So since Budweiser has lost $5 billion in stock value.
How great is that? How great is that?
Because so many people are like, nah, I don't want.
How great
I don't
is
like
that?
this anymore. Yeah.
Good for them.
So they lost $5 billion. I mean, that's the market is speaking for,
100%. Because that's, to me, is the equivalent of the frogs in the rainforest.
I don't know what that means.
The frogs that have a lot of, if there's no frogs, the rainforest doesn't exist. It's like a barometric measurement.
Okay.
So to me, if they're losing money, they're saying, you know what, there is hope because it's a fucking joke.
So apparently, I didn't know this when we first started talking about it. Budweiser, a year ago or something, hired this new executive who's this young woman to
Okay, you need a guy like Larry the Cable Guy,
right? So the thing with Bud Light is known for
middle America,
frat college guys,
white trashy, NRA,
it's the cheap American beer for white guys. Really, is what it is, right? I've never seen a chick drink Bud Light. Girls listening are going to be like, oh, you love Bud Light.
You're a dyke if you like Bud Light.
The image of Bud Light, for 100 years, since I don't know how long it's been around, but since its inception, I think of frat guys and rodeos. That's what I think of.
No, but you think of middle America, NASCAR.
Right, NASCAR, totally.
Wearing their fatigue, shooting their guns. It's whatever. So I'm happy.
Yeah,
I know that sounds terrible, but I'm happy.
Let's see.
I
want to find
what
who she was because she said Bud Light. I want to find her. So a lot of people were just like, I don't want to drink Bud Light anymore.
I think it's great.
And so their stock. I guess a lot of people also sold their stock and all this stuff. it turns out that the whole thing was this idea, the idea from this new executive at Budweiser or Bud Light. I don't know if they're separate companies or not, but you know what I'm talking about. Who was like, she was this young millennial woman who wanted to like reshape what
Could
Bud
you
Light
imagine?
means. And she said in this
They fire
statement,
her? They fire
I
her?
don't know.
If it ain't broke, bro, don't fix it.
I want to find what she said.
Why they hire someone like that makes no sense to me.
The declaration.
And then, you know what's even more shocking about it? Like, it's a major company. It just doesn't happen like one person making that final ultimate, that saying, I'm going to do this. There's a certain, I'm sure, panel. Like, who sits and goes, yeah, I agree. I agree with Tiffany.
But that is 20, what happens.
That's what I'm saying. I agree with Tiffany who's 23. Let's fucking do it. Like,
because
are you kidding me?
Like you as a middle-aged man, if you're in that company, right, and there's like a corporate, you work for yourself at a small company, so whatever you say goes. When you work at a corporation, you have HR, you have always people above you, right? So you're always reporting to someone. If you work in one of those companies and you've been there for a while and this new girl is there and you're good, like corporate environments now, you're going to be afraid to like go against these people.
I personally wouldn't, but I hear
you know what I mean. Like
yes.
That's the culture that's been created.
Could you imagine?
Because you'll be canceled or you'll be fired or whatever because you're not woke enough.
I would say she doesn't know shit. She fucking wipe her own ass at this age.
And they would probably fire you because
And
that's
then
what
they
corporate
lose
America
$5
is
billion.
now. Yeah.
Right.
But that's why I'm saying, like you said, but it has to go through all these people. But I think a lot of them are afraid to go against an to shut down an LGBT project. To be like, no.
Oh my God.
I want to find the.
I
what
bet you
said.
she's a spy and works for like Miller Lite.
But I can't find it, what specifically she said. But I read it somewhere that she said like her whole goal. It was actually when she first became
Was
it.
to bring down
No,
Bud.
she basically said, she was like, Bud Light has a connotation with like white men and like.
But that's what the okay.
But she said she wanted to change that.
Okay,
she said that's bad,
what it
and she wanted to
markets.
change it.
Okay, I have a question. Should Ferrari market 90-year-old women?
Or should like Vogue magazine market to
Gay men?
to NASCAR drivers?
Same difference.
Like,
yeah.
should they market to NASCAR drivers?
Right, no.
There are different things that are okay for
It's
different people.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. It's like what we talked about, or you mentioned many podcasts. Like when you keep separate groups, whether it's Asian, Mexican, you say, I'm going to have Mexican food. That is what you want. You want that culture. And then you become educated more. If I'm not Mexican, I want to eat some sort of ethnic food that's not what I'm used to. It broadens my horizons. It enlightens to me. It lets me understand the culture more. It makes things better rather than making everything the same where people, you have to eat this, you have to do this. It's a fucking joke.
Yeah, and it's like what white men can't have a beer that they like? Like that makes no sense.
No, but
why do we need to take the white man's beer and make it the trans woman's beer?
If you watch
Trans women don't drink beer.
If you
Actually,
watch
they are men.
Muscle and Fitness magazine, a person that is into a furry, who's an introvert, who is a gamer, is not reading that magazine.
And that's okay. Because there were also furry gamer magazines.
Right. Exactly right.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense.
It's a fucking joke. She's a fucking retard.
I got to try to find who she is. Let's see.
Are they firing her?
I don't know. I said
they should fire her.
Because Bryce is the one that told me about what she was saying, and I was like, they got to fire her, especially after they lost $5 billion. Like, there's no way.
100%.
Bud Light woman executive. Let's see if that'll do it. This says Anheuser-Busch CEO says Bud Light partnership with trans influencer wasn't meant to divide. CEO Brendan Whitworth said, we never intended to be part of a discussion that divides people. We're in the business of bringing people together over beer. Some responded with anger.
Look at her. Come on, look at it. I mean, Brian, that doesn't anger you? It does. It's got to anger you a little bit. Because she was like, hi, can you play it again? She's so, because she literally says, I don't know what this is or what March Madness is, but it's March.
Yeah. I mean,
she's annoying.
The personality is annoying.
It's annoying.
And I know someone who knew this person when they were just a gay man.
That's all they are, some marketing.
Like 5 years ago, a gay man living in LA, and apparently like they were very annoying back then, just as a gay man.
The person's
and
annoying.
like trying to become like
it's
famous.
annoying. But listen to this. It's annoying.
Hi. Impressive carrying skills, right? I got some Bud Lights for us. So, I kept hearing about this thing called March Madness, and I thought we were all just having a hectic month, but it turns out it has something to do with sports. And I'm not sure exactly which sport, but either way, it's a cause to celebrate. This month, I celebrated my day 365 of
All right,
womanhood.
stop.
I don't
All
need
right,
to
now,
watch the rest.
can you find out what she was paid for this?
No, I doubt it. I doubt it. I can't find what I'm looking for, but whatever, it doesn't matter.
All right, she should be fired. Period.
I'm sure she was. Maybe that's why I can't find it because it's
Period.
not, people aren't. Yeah,
Fucking, I'm glad they lost money.
yeah. So I just wanted to update you.
And I
on
don't
that.
want anyone losing money. I'm not like that.
It's not even that. It's
but
like
I'm glad.
it's the free market. The market is responding, and people are saying we don't want that.
well,
But you know what? Anheuser-Busch, the like parent company, they should have just made a new beer and marketed it with Dylan and made like a beer that's marketed towards algae.
no,
right? Because why?
Don't even do that. Why? That's not what they do. They're profit. No,
but if they wanted to get trans women,
really,
as a market,
what do we say? 0.25% or 1% of the population.
But as a business, you want everyone to be your customers.
Then they can,
Especially
drink
a beer business. You want every single person to be
a
a customer.
liquid.
Yeah.
Anyone can drink it.
But you're trying to market like
But it's a
Budweiser
sporting
specifically
thing.
markets to certain people. You know, just like how like tequila company, you know,
But you got
high level tequila companies
the
market
amount
to
of
a demographic,
the amount
but
of
light
cost
markets to
it
demographic.
will to market to a 0.25% or 1% of the population is not worth it.
Yeah.
So you got to go for the masses. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's comical, offensive, stupid, and they.
Oh, sorry, go on.
No, I'm saying, and I'm glad they lost the money.
Yeah.
Let them reconvene now and see what they're gonna do.
Speaking of money,
How much do you want?
No,
Okay.
no, it's like a good pivot. Have you heard? You might have like all this stuff with the U.S. dollar and like how, because you know, forever since like this America became the superpower, the whole world has been like on the U.S. dollar, the trade, the market,
Okay, and now it's not.
Well, a few countries are saying no, we're not. We're not on the dollar.
Biden. What's going on?
I think right now is just China and Brazil, but like those are two of the biggest markets in the world. Let me see. Let me get an article on it because I don't know too much. U.S. dollar, China, Brazil. Let's see. Could this bank Brazil here? This is from Fox. Brazil and China strike a trade deal agreement to ditch the U.S. dollar. It says here the deal announced Wednesday will enable China and Brazil to carry out trade and financial transactions directly, exchanging yuan for reais or vice versa, rather than first converting their currencies to the U.S. dollar. The Brazilian Trade Agency said the new arrangement is expected to reduce costs and promote even greater bilateral trade. China is Brazil's largest trade partner, accounting for more than a fifth of all imports, followed by the U.S. China is also Brazil's largest export market, accounting for more than a third of all their exports. China overtook the U.S. as Brazil's top trading partner in 2009. Officials from both countries reached a preliminary agreement to ditch the U.S. dollar in January, and the deal was announced after a meeting in Beijing. So, I mean, what does that say? Brazilian President Luiz da Silva was sworn in January and has moved to strengthen ties with Beijing after a period of rocky relations under his predecessor, Jair Bolsonaro, who used anti-China rhetoric on the campaign trail in office. So, like, that's not good.
Well, they're obviously an ally of China now.
Yeah, and Beijing, Brazil, people kind of forget about Brazil. They're one of the most important, biggest countries in the world, not only in terms of population and size, but in terms of a market. I think they might be like the fifth biggest market in the world. Actually, let's see. Biggest countries in the world by what I do?
Production?
GDP? Probably by GDP. This says US, China, Japan, Germany, UK, India, France, Italy. No, that's not what I want then.
Do by production, maybe.
I don't know. Let's see. And then also, so they announced that global manufacturing. So when I did this, biggest countries in the world by production, it showed US, Brazil, Germany, China, Russia, Japan. So that one showed Brazil as second. So it's like we don't think of Brazil as like a superpower, but they kind of are, like in the world. So that was a little scary when I saw that. And then also last week, which we can talk about all these France protests that are going, which is like crazy that no one is talking about. Like our media is not talking about it at all, but like France is having the biggest uprising that they've had.
What's going on in France, and why do you think the media is not talking about it?
I don't know why they're not talking about it. Maybe because it's like anti-government.
Let's first see what What is going on in France?
And so they are talking about it, like they've reported on it, but it's not to the...
Right, there's been more time of the 2 days of the banks going on, and we never hear anything at that point.
Yeah, like they're still talking about January 6th stuff.
We know why that.
So let's even just go to CNN and see if the France protests are on the front page. They should be at these huge protests. 4 people killed in mass shooting. Kennedy's pushed back against saying I'm supporting Biden. I don't see anything. Let's go to world at least. Let's see if they're talking about it. Sudan, Europe's migration, mass arrests in Japan. I don't see anything about France. Here, top French court. It's like the 7th thing down, and that's what it's about. Top French court backs unpopular plans to raise retirement age. So what happened, like a couple weeks ago, the French government voted or like just decided to change to raise the retirement age and like to cut Social Security benefits just like out of the blue. And they also like cut pensions. So they were like all government pensions, like done. So
they raised, let's say, from 70 to 72 or whatever.
Yeah, I think it was even a bigger thing. So all these...
That's fucked up.
It was like extremely
That should start a riot. Fuck, that's fucked up. It started
crazy riots. We'll watch videos of it. Let me get the exact details. France, Social Security benefits. Let's see if I can find it. I don't think that's what I want. Here, this from Newsweek. A retirement uprising could be on the cards. For the past 2.5 months, millions of people in France have taken to the streets to protest against Macron's push to raise the retirement age from 62 to 64. So that's what it is. You're right on 2 years. Okay. The French president said the unpopular reform is necessary to balance the country's pension system over the coming years.
Because they probably don't have the funds.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what it is.
Listen, you don't think if everybody were to call in for this, what the U.S., the funds aren't there?
Oh, totally.
Right.
But then the problem, too, remember a while back?
Like, where is that money going? You know, we're paying, and it's so fucked up because when you do your payroll and you got your FICA withholding, all that stuff, you pay in every paycheck.
Every paycheck I've given my entire life has put money towards the government for them to be like, we're putting it away for you for later.
Right, which I don't need them to do.
Right.
Well, okay. I rather have my own money. I rather bank on my own retirement. I rather put away in my own plan to build compounded interest.
Because you know it's there and you can do what you want.
And I can watch or whatever. It's so fucking crooked, and you go to use it and it won't even be there. It's not even there. Yeah.
Well, it's like a Ponzi scheme, right?
It's the biggest crock of shit.
I'm all for...
And they did this originally for, I think, other reasons for when the people came off from the army, right?
Yeah. FDR started it back like post-World War II as like a resurgency thing to like help Americans get back on their feet and also for a way for the government to make money. But it worked initially. But now it's become such a big system that I think it's grown past what they initially wanted it to be.
I think they're also figuring that if people, there's a couple of schools of thought on this thing.
This episode is brought to you by Manscaped, hooking us up every day, and they can be hooking you up, man or woman. I love my Manscaped.
You're so funny, Ryan. You're just a funny guy.
I'm going to unbutton my shirt a little bit.
Okay, Ooh,
look at that.
But I could see it from where the buttons are tight anyway. Yeah. I could see it.
But look, do you see that?
Now, did you make it like 2-3 days ago and it's grew back?
No, this is my trim. I actually did it yesterday.
Wow.
Because I went to the beach, so I took my little lawnmower out on my back, my balls, because it's hot. You know, it's hot out when you go to the beach, so you got to like take your trimmer, the lawnmower 4.0, the best on the market.
Your beard's looking good. I noticed.
So my beard is from the Beard Hedger
your
Pro.
Your face looks good. I noticed that.
Thank you. And it's all my Manscaped
And
stuff.
it's very important. You got to keep that line clean always. Yes.
And you can even just do it. You don't need to do a full. So the new Beard Hedger Pro.
How's the back of your neck? Perfect. Yep.
Did the back of my neck with the Beard Hedger.
It's a little uneven, but I see it.
Okay. I mean, it's hard to do it myself.
It is.
Manscaped came out with this new beard trimmer. It's great. It's got 20 different settings. You feel like you're a fucking barber with this thing.
It's well made. You can see it's really well made. The handle and it's good stuff.
So like I don't even need to fully shave with the razor. I take this thing and I just do it in the morning real quick. You know, it's easy.
Yeah, that's what it's
for.
Keep
the line. Manscaped's got a plethora of products. Anything you could need for your grooming, hygiene, all this stuff. So head over to manscaped.com, use the code DaddyIssues20. You'll get 20% off and free shipping, and you will make your life better.
Yeah, and let me tell you something. It's the presentation of all the stuff is phenomenal. Yeah, it's well made. It's quality stuff. So to me, a woman could use it and a man can use it. And I got to tell you, for the ladies out there, it's a great fucking gift for your man. Because it's a nice product. It's very reasonably priced. Plus, with the discount you get from our discount, it makes a nice gift and a nice presentation. I think your man would like it, so I highly recommend you get it.
Yeah. So, ladies, go to manscaped.com, and fellas and non-binary people, go to manscaped.com. Use the code DaddyIssues20, and you'll get 20% off your entire order and free shipping.
Most people are, as you know, I think are fucking idiots, right? I think the government's even more of a
especially financially.
Wait, I think even the government's more of an idiot. But I think that they're saying the government. If I would like where people have a right to opt out and let it be their own choice.
I think the idea of it's great, and you should sign up. Every even paycheck, you should say, "I want to donate." Not donate. I want to put some.
It's just like a 401k in your office.
Right.
You can say, "This year I'm going to put this amount. This year I'm going to put none of that. I might need more for my. I might."
Why isn't it that way?
Well, I think the reason being is that the government is afraid of. Because most people live hand to mouth, they don't know how to balance, they all get in debt, whatever it is. I think that if you end up getting, say, a couple grand a month, when you retire or reach a certain age, that you then have the ability. There's not going to be so much poverty in our country.
True. I guess it does make sense.
So it's sort of like a little bit of an insurance thing.
It's like a cushion,
an annuity to people. Like put it now. We don't trust you to be responsible for yourself. Because think about it, Bronny. How many people do we know that? If they raise their paycheck, their salary gets raised. They spend every penny.
Yeah,
they don't live within their means,
or just wouldn't like when they get older. They would have no money.
That's what I'm saying.
A country that has like if we all of ours 65 plus, like half of them all of a sudden like were poor and couldn't afford things. Our country, it would be a big problem.
With the government fucking up our stock market, interest rates, whatever. The reality now, these people that were going to retire can't afford to retire.
So Social Security, like I don't really even know how it works. We can't forget to get back to this, but like. So I pay it based off it's like a percentage of each paycheck.
It's a percent, right? It's off.
But then
and
when you're
a cap,
older,
I think too, and it's a cap what you can get. I don't know a huge amount either, but when you're older, when you go to collect, and I don't know if you can collect. There's a certain age you get, right? So
and you can't do before 65. I
think it's 62 and a half or 65. Okay. Now I'm not sure.
Should I look that up?
Yeah. What's the
Social
age
Security
of benefits?
Benefits age US. Okay, this is socialsecurityadministration.gov.
Well, that would take an hour.
The full retirement age is 66 if you were born between 1943 and 1954. The full retirement age increases gradually, born from 55 to 60 until it reaches 67. For anyone born 1960 or later, full retirement benefits are payable at age 67. That seems late.
That's late. Yeah.
Wow.
So they pushed it too.
They've been pushing it for a while. Oh, no, well, it's from 66 to 67. That's okay. So it started 66.
So it's 67, right? So
I thought it was 65 always.
So now I guess you get, even if I'm working, I still can get my
Is that how it works?
Social Security check.
It's just
it's only a couple grand a month. I can change my lifestyle.
Where is the money sitting? Like, does the government just
invest it?
Where
does the money in the bank sit?
Well, yeah, but we know where the money in the bank sits.
It doesn't sit.
No, but the banks are investing it, and we know
invest
they keep
there
a certain
are pension
amount.
funds.
Okay.
There are, for example, you could take Rob, who used to live in our neighborhood. I'm not going to mention. They do that,
right?
Or you hear these big funds. They do these big pension funds,
but that just seems it's like. Why do I have to, by law, I have no choice. I have to give my money to the government to invest.
Pay federal taxes like anything else.
But taxes, at least, it's like taxes. This is like for my own. It's my own money coming back to me.
I think they want to prevent.
Which makes sense, I guess. It does
But
make
I
sense.
want my money. I believe myself. I don't want anyone to invest for me. I know what I believe myself.
And it's like, I want my money now.
Right, but if everybody wanted their money now. But I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying I'm giving the others food for thought.
And I see it probably is necessary on a large scale for a government to be like, we need a bit of a safety for when our population is starting to retire, because we can't have all these old people not spending money, because that's a big demographic that you need in a country. So I guess it makes sense.
Money to old people, they just need their money to live off
to survive, not to be
live.
Homeless and dying and starving.
It's still a shame.
Yeah.
So go back to France.
Yeah. It says here, the president said that that it's necessary to balance the system over the coming years as France's demographics are expected to change, growing progressively older. Remember, we talked about that.
Yeah, people are living longer.
We've talked about how, so many times we've talked about in all these countries, the huge problem is now with industrialization, people are having less kids and people are aging and living longer. So countries are having where it used to be, let's say 10% of the population was elderly. Now it's like 26%. So it's so much more. And the problem is
medicine helps that.
Yeah. But you don't want a large population of old people because they don't help the system. You want a large population of young people.
They're a drain on society. I don't mean literally like they're a problem because
But they, no offense, old people, but they are a problem. They're not useful to a functioning society.
Correct.
It's just part of it, so we need them. It's not like I'm saying get
rid of them. We're not abandoning them, right?
But remember we talked about Japan, how Japan has so many old people and so few young people because no one had children for the last 30 years.
Right.
People just weren't having children. So it's that's a huge problem when you have no workforce.
It's a big problem.
So I guess that's why France was getting worried.
And when they can't afford it.
Yeah. They were getting worried. All these people are about to be retiring, and we have no young people replacing them in the job. We're having no money coming in, and all our money going out.
Socialistic?
Not really. They're like an interim, like an in between.
Gotcha.
So it says here, but the highly contested plan has been met with weeks of strikes, demonstrations, and violent riots as people protest against deteriorating work conditions in France, to the point that Britain's King Charles recently canceled his visit to the country. So you knew about this a bit. Remember we talked with people, friends of ours who were we had a trip to Paris and we canceled it.
Yes.
Because Paris right now, because all the workers are on strike. And so France is since the 1600s.
I couldn't care about France.
But since the 1600s, France has had it's just part of their culture, their national, not American. We have certain things that are very American. It's very French to protest the government, to do it violently. That's just what they've always done. And so they're doing it again. But the whole country, old people, young people, and all the workers are we're not fucking working. You're taking our money.
You think it's going to change by what they're doing?
France changes every 10 years. The government changes because the people are out in the streets rioting. That's part of French politics. But it's so bad that Paris, the streets are completely full of garbage. I'll just show you. Well, let's just
let me see Twitter. Some photos or videos.
Yeah, let's scroll Twitter. Let me record my screen so we can watch these videos. So I'm just gonna type in France. Yeah, first thing is France riots, and let's do France riots.
Let me see what it comes up with.
What's this? This is
Make it bigger.
This is 2 days ago.
Oh my God.
The police are just beating on people. I don't even know what's going on here. It's chaos.
Oh, this is wrong.
Look how many people there are, Dad.
This is wrong.
But then, there's so many, what's this? This says, police
God.
stations are being torched. The decision by the Constitutional Court was in favor of the pension reform. They also rejected a referendum. France will never accept the decision of one man over the entire country. So they're burning police stations. What's this? Riot police beating up people.
Oh, that's wrong. Why are they doing it? 3 police beating up a guy.
This is a young
woman. Let me watch that. This is angry.
This is a young woman who's just being thrown on the ground. But I want to see
isn't this wrong?
But it's also the government just decided to do it, and all the people are saying no, and it's this is called a dictatorship.
Wow, this is wrong.
I want to, but there were pictures of.
You gotta let me see some of the videos.
That's it. Oh, this is. I don't want to.
Woman.
It's.
God, this is just nasty.
Police in full riot are just beating people, and the people aren't trying to fight. The people are.
Yeah, what?
The people are not. They're just standing there. At least it looks like that to me.
Oh my God.
I don't know what this music is.
Wow, it's crazy. Get a different one.
There's
so many.
Yeah, no, and it's been going on for weeks.
What's that?
This looks like a Ukraine-Russia war video, doesn't it? This is Paris.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Look at all these people.
They just threw the gas thing right back. Why are these kids there?
Because it's very French to do that. To be but I like that.
Throwing it right back.
I like that the kids are we don't like the government changing, because the old people can't revolt.
Yeah, but there's also, this is crazy.
This is, that police station that was on fire. But I've seen pictures of Paris and people, it became a joke. Paris trash.
Wow. This world is such a unrest. It's terrible.
Because people have all been going to Paris because all the workers, like the government sanitation workers and stuff, were protesting too. So they were like, we're not picking up the trash. Fuck you. Fuck the government.
Wow.
So Paris has been full. The streets are covered in garbage.
Oh my God.
Covered. This says Paris protesters block entrances to the council building with trash containers. So that's like they blocked the government building.
You gotta make. I can't. It's hard to see.
Look at that. That's Paris. That looks like a third world country.
Okay, that looks worse than a third world country.
It's thousands of garbage.
How are they going
bags.
to clean that up?
I have no
I'll
idea.
Be honest with you, how they gonna, first of all, it's got to be ridden with disease.
Oh yeah, and rats and
Yeah, how do you clean that up? It's got to be in the air, the toxins and all that
so
stuff.
that's why like all these Americans that have been planning to go to
No.
Paris, they've all canceled their trips.
What about people that live in Paris that got to
Yeah.
move? Is it only in Paris?
Paris is like the main place for it. This says trash can't set ablaze in the protests.
Well, that's
just a joke.
oh my God, this world is crazy.
Look at this. Here's more
What do
trash.
they say?
Just trash on fire in the streets.
I would not be there. Why would you be there? Wouldn't you leave?
Yeah, I mean, if you live there, it's just and so that's like a big deal that the entire country of France is protesting against their tyrannical government, that they don't want this. And on CNN, we had to go to the World tab, not the right.
So what's your thoughts on that? Why Fox is not doing it either, right?
Let's see. Fox News. My thoughts before I check this out. My thoughts are that the media we know now, the media is just an arm of the government. And so people protesting governmental control is not something that they want to share, right? Because then that might inspire Americans to do it. And they don't want that because they work for the government.
Could be
basically.
right. The mob mentality.
Like, why would they want to show that people are
Could be.
against their government?
Valid point.
Because they don't want Americans to be against their government. That's
What's
what I
this?
think.
What's this?
This says hundreds of kids terrorize streets on Chicago. This is the homepage of Fox News. So, do we see a single France thing? No, not yet. Still not yet. Let's go to the World tab again, just to be right, because they might not talk about France on the homepage.
So this is your computer, my computer.
This is my computer.
So your saunas came up on the bottom?
Saunas?
Keep scrolling down.
Yeah, that was an ad on the other page.
Because I'm looking at that. Why would it come up on yours? Isn't
I
that
don't
weird?
know. That is weird.
I want to talk to you about that as well.
Well, I signed in on some of your things. Like I signed in once on your computer, so maybe it like tracked it.
I don't know. Interesting.
So now we're on
No,
World.
I just looked yesterday. It was just yesterday.
That is weird.
I was going to ask you to look up for saunas for me.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm going to explain it.
Yeah.
I need your help.
So we're on the World tab. Mexico shooting, Indian politician, Israel, nuclear deal, Ramadan, Qatar, Greek Orthodox Church accuses Israel of violating holy. So I still don't see, right? Nothing.
I think you might be right. They don't want to give people the idea like, oh, look, if you riot,
If you don't like what the
we
government's
want to show
doing.
less riots. We just want to show the alleged riot on January 6th
Yeah. Or the peaceful protests of BLM because they were showing them in a good.
to continue.
I think
Bernie.
they just don't. They don't want Americans watching something being like,
to say, we could do that.
if you don't like what the government's doing, take
You
to the
could do
streets.
this.
Right? Because they work for the government. We even like all of them, the media in general, mass media,
100%.
But like that's a huge thing that's going on. Another one, Israel has been having huge protests.
Why?
I don't know the details about the Israel one. Let's see if we can find it. And no one's been talking about them. Israel.
Again, I wouldn't know because I don't watch the news. So
But it won't be on the news.
Right.
I don't know it from the news either. So let's see what the Israel protests are about. Here, let's look at Al Jazeera because Al Jazeera, thousands of Israelis in new
Get rid of the
protests
cookie
against,
shit.
against judicial reforms. Prime Minister Netanyahu delayed the proposed overhaul in late March, but opponents wanted it scrapped. I mean, look, that's
Look
a
how many
huge
people on the
protest.
street, and those are fire bombs, or whatever, right? Those smoke things.
Yeah, those are fires. Or tens of thousands of people. This was yesterday, April 15th, right? This is yesterday.
No, that's
Today's
you're right.
the 16th.
You're right.
This comes out on the 17th. But tens of thousands of people have taken to the streets in Israel to protest against the government's plan to overhaul the judicial system. The protest came on the heels of a downgrade of Israel's credit rating by U.S. rating agency Moody's. I don't know what that means.
Right. That's okay. That's it's a rating agency for stocks.
So
Look it
downgrade means like we don't trust, like it's not good.
Yeah, right. They lower
Moody credit.
like an A-rated stock or bond or whatever, and
A credit rating is an evaluation of the credit risk of a prospective debtor, predicting their ability to pay back the debt. Okay, so It says the agency shifted the country's position from positive to stable on Friday, signaling the potential for an economic uproar against the government. Oh, so they didn't know, but the reason why they did that was because the people are protesting.
Oh, they got you.
So they downgraded because they said the people are protesting.
It's a risk factor,
it's
right?
Unstable now.
Right. Okay.
More than 100,000 people protested or participated in the demonstration in Tel Aviv on Saturday, according to Israeli broadcasting channel 12, and smaller demonstrations took place all across the country. Counter protests were also planned. Protest organizers who have held these weekly protests for more than 3 months, right? So it's been happening for a long time. No one knows about it. Nope. It's so crazy. Aim to maintain momentum and increase pressure. But what's happening? Why is here? Let's see what they announced that a controversy. I want to know what the plan is. Here's Israel's judicial proposal that drew people to protest. Large weekly protests have been protesting. So Netanyahu announced plans to pass legislative changes that protesters
He's
and
still
the opposition.
Involved?
Yeah.
I thought he was out.
He's been in and out. He's like changed the rules. That's like a little bit sketch too.
But he's good for Israel.
A lot of he's like very controversial for Israel too. Okay. Like a lot of people are
I
pro.
Thought somebody knew.
Anti.
I thought he was out. I thought somebody new came in.
No, they were trying to, and then he like got back in.
Really? No, but I thought he was out. He lost.
So this says the proposed changes would limit the Supreme Court's powers to rule against the legislative and the executive branches, giving the parliament, the Knesset, the power to override Supreme Court decisions with a simple majority, 61 votes out of 120.
That's a mistake.
That's crazy.
Why should the parliament be involved?
That just makes no sense.
So they can overthrow the Supreme Court decision.
The Supreme Court, they're just
we
making
don't like
the Supreme
it?
Court null.
Correct.
There's no
There's
point.
A veto.
Then.
There's no point in Supreme Court.
So they're making I'm blanking. What is it? Why it's such an
explain me what you're trying
like
to
how
say.
We have a balance of power, checks and balances.
Checks and balances.
So that literally makes it so that there's no checks
value.
And balances. I would protest that too. That's a ridiculous.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
That's crazy. So it's go on.
Supreme Court is the final say. It's the final law.
As it should be.
Absolutely.
It says here, a second proposal would take away the Supreme Court's authority to review the legality.
All the baggages.
I've been looking up a lot of when I bought my Patagonia bag. So I already bought my bag, but they're still advertising for me to buy travel bags. They know that I'm traveling a lot. This says a second proposal would take away the Supreme Court's authority to review the legality of Israel's basic laws, which function as the Constitution. That's another crazy thing.
Sense.
So they're making it less of a democracy. What they're doing.
Well, there's no value to it.
That's crazy.
Because if they say, okay, we like it or we don't like it, we're going to veto it.
Yeah.
What's the point? Then it's not a judge. You're not being judged or law based upon the people in office. It's only strictly whatever the parliament says.
Yeah.
And who's the parliament?
And the parliament has its own problems. Knesset has had a lot of problems.
But they don't have that branch.
Well,
they're not part of that branch.
That's the whole point of the three-party system.
Is to keep it separate, right? That checks and balances.
You have the people who make the laws, the people that enforce the laws, the people that interpret the laws. That's the whole point.
100%. Big mistake.
It says the reforms would also change how Supreme Court justices are selected, giving politicians the decisive power in appointing the judges. That's another crazy thing.
But doesn't it happen now?
No, but
doesn't the president appoint?
The president appoints, but it has to be approved by. This is just saying that I guess they just can choose.
Well,
I don't know
what they're saying. We don't know.
Right, we don't know.
I don't even know how they are. They come about in Israel in the first place.
Yeah, me neither. We don't know.
Like we learned about the Dalai Lama. We didn't know he's born one of 15 kids.
Oh, this is just from CNN. 32 minutes ago. 4 out of the 5 U.S. metropolitan areas with the lowest unemployment rates are in Florida. This is from CNN. This is the top of Twitter. I didn't even know.
Is that the Aston Martin building?
Yeah,
right there?
That's why I said, because this is Miami.
I see that. What's that?
Yeah.
What do they call that area?
This is downtown, and that's Brickell. That's Brickell Key. So it says, let's read this. This is interesting. Total change, but from CNN, 4 out of the 5 U.S. metro areas with the lowest unemployment are in Florida. Here's why.
Unbelievable.
Thanks to the state's growing population, robust tourism, and increased business investment, Miami had the lowest unemployment rate of metropolitan areas in the country, with more than 1 million people in February, at 2.2%, tied with Birmingham, according to the latest rankings from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Jacksonville, Tampa, and Orlando all had unemployment rates below 2.7. Nationally, the jobless rate stood at 3.5. So Miami was 2.2, and then nationally it's 3.5. So that's great.
That's impressive.
4 out of the 5 are Florida.
Yep. And those are all booming areas, by the way. Orlando, Jacksonville, Tampa, booming areas. Miami.
Oh, another here. Moody's Analytics director says in-migration is still a really important part of the story of Florida, and the fact that people are moving away from higher cost, colder areas in the Northeast into places like Miami and also Jacksonville, Orlando, and Tampa.
By the way, they're high cost living areas, those places too.
They're grown.
Yeah, it's really out of control.
Florida had the biggest population gain due to domestic migration of any state from 2021 to 2022, according to the census, growing by more than 300,000 residents. Florida was the fastest growing state as a percentage during that period. The first time it was at the top since 1957. The state is more affordable compared to expensive coastal cities such as New York and San Francisco, and the weather is milder, which typically draws residents there. The influx of people drove up consumer demand across the board, which meant more workers were needed to satisfy the demand. Tourism in the Sunshine State has been booming. So that's cool to see that. I just saw that on Twitter.
I love Florida, bro.
Yeah.
Always have. I think it's the best place on earth.
And to even see from CNN, which is typically not pro-Florida because they try to...
We saw two positive things in CNN.
Yeah.
Dalai Lama was...
Right, that round table.
And then this thing.
Yeah. If you don't know what we're talking about, that was on the Patreon episode last week.
So join, bitches.
We talked all about the Dalai Lama and all that.
How do they join?
Patreon.com/daddyissuespod.
Gotcha.
So I'll just wrap this up and then we'll do a quick fatherly advice. It's just these protests, no one's talking about them, right? So you don't see, right? This is Fox News. You don't see a single Israel thing or a single France thing, right? I still don't see. I'm scrolling. Nothing. Same with CNN. Look, CNN World. Do we see a single Israel or no? China, Japan, Taiwan, Colombia, nothing. Because the media doesn't want Americans to see protests. They don't want people seeing that you can go against your government.
Yeah,
but that's not news.
Right. No, but we know what's been going on. Hey, real quick before we do follow advice. Knock at the Cabin or something?
Yeah.
Nah.
It's a good plane movie. I watched on the plane. I don't know why my voice cracked right there.
It was definitely do not see.
It could have been. Yeah.
It's a waste of your time.
Knock at the Cabin could have been great. It was a great premise. And then it got a little stupid. Okay, fair enough.
I watched it. It was okay. I give it a 6.
Yeah, totally. I would have given it a 6 too. But a 6 is ideal for a plane. Yeah. Because you're stuck there, you know.
Now
you don't want to watch a 10 on a plane.
Bullet Train
is great.
Was great.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's see.
They're
all so long. All
next week, I do my Wi-Fi thing.
Okay.
Thanks.
Read it. This one, yeah. This is anonymous. I recently graduated college in December and started working. I have a job, but it's not really what I want. I'm also living at home with my parents until I have enough money to move out. My college experience was awful. It was mostly online because of COVID, and I was at home for a lot of it. I feel like I've missed out on having fun, making friends, and having the college experience. Some days I think about leaving my hometown and moving to a new state or city to reinvent myself. I have a boyfriend who I've been dating for 3 years and we're committed. He doesn't graduate until December and we don't live together currently. We want to live together when he graduates, but he doesn't want to move to a new state like I do. I've been feeling depressed, stuck, and unsure about what life decisions to make moving forward. Do I quit my job, move to a new city by myself, try to convince my boyfriend to move somewhere with me? I don't want to live with regrets and I'm not sure what to do. I don't know. I got to think about that.
Okay. First of all, very mature to start having these thoughts.
Actually, I do know.
Why don't you say what you want to say?
What came to my head. If you're feeling stuck, then you have to unstick yourself. And the only way to do that is to make a change. And so the only changes you can do in your life is to change your job or your place. And it seems like the place is the one that you want to change because you've mentioned it 7 times that you want to move. So I think you just got to move.
I think you're young enough and life is full of many different experiences to see what path it's going to lead you to future. I think if you've been there and the college experience, it's behind you. Life isn't perfect, so be it.
Yeah, that's not a big deal. That's really not a big deal. And you can experience college post-college. You can go out and party and have fun.
But on the same token, I will tell you this. At this age in your life, if you don't try and experience things and create more culture and life experiences, you're going to regret it. So I think you should try. Have fun. You can always come back.
Totally.
There's no downside.
Go for a month. Just go to New York.
I quit my job and moved, and look at the life it gave us. So you can
just go to New York for a month, rent an Airbnb, and just fuck around for a month and just see what you want to do.
No, you need to get into a routine. So I think you
Yeah,
move to
yeah,
place, get a job, but I think you need to go out.
She might not know
where to go,
right? Like where to move.
Well,
it's hard to be like if she's.
But she's not gonna know even when she just gets an Airbnb. My point is,
but you can feel it
There's
out.
so many great cities out there that are up and coming that are young people. There's Colorado, which is booming. There's Nashville. There's so many places that
Anywhere
are booming.
in Texas, Florida. Come to Florida. We just talked about it.
So
Everyone's coming.
I think 110% you should try it. You're young, because when you look back and you're pregnant, you're married, and you have kids, you're going to regret it and say, what if? And there's nothing that says you have to be stuck in your hometown. I think that's a little bit antiquated and old school, and I think you should go experience life.
Sorry.
It's no big deal.
It also might make you, like when I graduated high school, I knew I was going away for college, and I was like, I definitely want to leave Florida. I don't want to live in Florida. I know I don't want to live here because it was my home. I was like, this is all I knew, so I wanted to get out. And I lived in Boston and I lived in Los Angeles, and then now
and Australia.
Yeah, and now that I've come back, it's like now I love being here.
You've had other experiences,
right? Exactly. So it's like just because you move somewhere doesn't mean that you're like giving up your entire past life. Go find new things, experience new stuff. You don't even need to, like you said, reinvent yourself. Be yourself in a new place. Just go experience things, and then you'll probably come back and appreciate
or
more.
You might say, I like where I'm at better. Like
Totally.
I left at 27, and I my upbringing was fine, but I like this lifestyle much better. I stayed here and raised my kids here.
Yeah.
So you don't have to go back, but you'll make those decisions. You'll feel better about yourself. And right now you're not happy. You're not feeling good. So what's the downside? It can't get worse. Fuck it. You can always come back. So I think we're on the same page. High risk, high reward. You have nothing to lose.
It's not even a high risk.
It's a low risk,
Yeah.
right? Because you don't have
At your age,
children.
it's a
right?
low
You don't have
risk.
children. You're not married. Your expenses are not an all-time high. Go enjoy yourself. Have fun. Create experiences. Live life.
You know you want to. You say it.
She's afraid, right?
You're saying, I feel stuck. So you go.
There's a lot out there.
Oh, yeah.
Go fucking take it by the
just get a
take it
little
by the
uncomfortable. Go do
Right.
things that are a little uncomfortable.
Right. All right. Brian, love you. Keep
you
us
too.
posted, Anonymous.
All right. See you later.
You're joking, right?
Well, I'm trying to be hopeful. I'm trying to be optimistic about that.
Well, I guess you're too young to be a little pessimistic like me. The fucking things I see out there, people are stupid.